You, Ishita. You can hear me, right? Uh, Thank you, Sumitra. That was really inspiring and, amazing. Such an amazing entity to see that entire and to see it in photographs and very, very inspiring. So, if I have to share about Prakriya, I think a lot of what we do is stems from this whole thing of how do we, it is nature based. And I'll just quickly share with you the how we work with children from right from the younger ages to how it slowly graduates into the older, into the older classes. Um, so a lot of what we do in the nursery in Balambika, a lot of what we do right up to primary, children get a lot of time to be outside, to be out in nature, to build their connections with their surroundings. Whether it is nature walk, whether it is gardening, whether it is time to be out on their own, just to be out under the sun. Their classes, a lot of their classes happen outside. And this, I think, enables them to see themselves as part of uh, that outside world and also to observe and to see the world around them and to see that they are part of it and the other creatures being a part of that as well. So if I have to share about, let's say, the nature walk, we do have times when we just go out and walk and children are there. But there are also focused nature walks where we say, let's be quiet. We're going to listen to the birds today and let's try to identify, who we can hear. Let us look at the trees today. What are the shapes of the leaves that we see? What are the what is growing around us? What is growing around us, and what is what have we noticed today? The ants, and different things like that. So there are two aspects of it where one is just being out in nature, and the other is also learning to observe, learning to listen, learning to use our senses to acknowledge and to see what is around us. Along with that, and in that, we see a lot of this whole thing of curiosity and wonder, and it comes back to their classes as well, because especially in Balambika with the emergent curriculum, a lot of the learning happens from what they see, what they experience outside, and the learning plan, right, that a facilitator has for the class is shaped from those observations that children bring in, and the plan gets shaped there. So a lot of the learning of children comes from what they see, what they observe, what they feel, and that gets incorporated into the learning plan for the group. We also have our gardening, which happens across for the entire school, from Balambika right up to class 10. Every child has time out to go and work with the soil. So when they're younger, it's very interesting because you'll see some of them suddenly, getting into the bus with their bunch of dhania or whatever they've grown, palak, simple things like that. A little bit of that where they take home after having, worked with it, after having planted, seen the growing, seen the how it has come out and things like that. As they grow older, they also work a lot with right from composting, understanding the different aspects of what enables one plant to grow faster, a vegetable, what is it that helps, why this in this season, why not in this season, all of that gets weaved into the gardening program. And I think it's been really beautiful because one of the children, I think after a field trip, she did come back to me and said, I'm eating much better now after having worked. So they had gone for a 5-day program on a field trip. And she came back and said, after having worked for those 5 days, like really worked out in the, out in the farm, I'm eating much better now. And I don't want to waste food so much, and that really was so heartwarming to hear, because at one level we work at, we're just working at seeding and allowing ourselves and children to feel the enrichment that comes from this, and to sometimes see it in individual children who have struggled or who have faced certain challenges. That also is amazing to to celebrate. Another thing that we work with in terms of in the younger ages especially, is how we bring in the 5 elements into our curriculum, so that children understand that, and for all of us to see that all of these elements are a part of us. Right. So one is to look at understanding how Vayu works, how the Akash, space, sky, all of that works, around us and how it impacts us. The other is also to see it within us. So our school, right from our school chant to the way we work with our TLC program, that too is part of how we do see it all coming together and helping children to feel this sense of wonderment, to feel the sense of, to also see how they need to, protect, to take care of, and to see it for themselves, within themselves, that these elements are also alive within them. So these are, they really come together as a whole. And as they grow, as children grow, I've seen that, right from learning to share things with one another, learning to save paper, looking at resources. Our projects are always, there's one aspect of it where we say sustainability is one thing that you have to look at. So whatever they do for their projects, that is one guideline that we have, that you have to keep sustainability in mind, and therefore no plastics, and those kinds of guidelines are always there for them. In the high school classes, one of the things that has really, really, really worked for us are the Green Wisdom classes, because especially as they get into 9th and 10th, with the curriculum becoming very, heavy in a way, the Green Wisdom classes have enabled our children to sit back, look at the larger whole, and not just get caught with what is, there for them in terms of finishing the syllabus, running with exams, the stress of all of that. So the Green Wisdom classes are classes where we don't do any of that, do nothing connected to the curriculum, but we look at how do we build perspectives around understanding the critical aspects of sustainability, critical aspects of climate change, looking at how we can work with it, and build perspectives, as well as understanding how we can actionalize those as well. So that enables children to get a wider purview on life itself, and allows for a lot of collaboration, allows for a lot of working together in a different way. So that too has been, for us as a school, a very compelling program in terms of how we've worked with the young ones to kind of see more than what is absolutely visible for them. Our real life projects is something I'd like to share as well. So I think, the first real life project that we did, I wasn't there then, but they did work with building the pond, an ecosystem of itself within the school campus. And all the classes, whether it was English or math or, the social sciences, everything was built around that. Uh, from then to now, we've worked with different real life projects where we take up for a couple of months. We work with a project that is live at this point in time. At one point in time, we did take up the looking and working with the lake that was very close to the school. How do we, try to save it, because it was bothering all of us a lot. It had started shrinking. There were so many things that were happening around it, and we knew that at some point we would probably lose it. And that was one of the things that we worked with. And from there came, simple things like songs that children created about lakes, saving the lake, writing letters to the government, working with building an awareness through concert. So there were lots of things. Along with that, also reality orientation of, okay, this is how much we've done, how much more do we need to do, and what is it that we need to move with? What is it that we have in our hands right now? What is it that we don't have in our hands right now? And we need to persist, So the lake project that we did took a while to kind of, we did it only for a couple of months, but it has been years that we have, engaged with it as well. And we do see that now there's a larger, right from the government to the communities around, they have also taken up and they've really worked with looking at how to sustain the lake. So that is one of the things that also I feel helps all of us and children as well to build an understanding of who am I in this world? What is my role? How do I look at what is around me, the problems that exist, the lovely things that are there as well, and how do I, connect to those? Another thing I want to share is, a lot of times our children have been struggling with really looking at the culture that is outside, Western music, pop culture, Korean culture seems to be very inviting. And when we are in school, one of the things that we look at is also how do we enable them to celebrate? How do we enable them to see what is in our culture as well? And how do we learn much more about it so that they can enjoy it at some point of time, even if, sometimes it takes a while to build that. So we have our, one part of the program that we have is where children right from the primary to the high school work with, our Indian, the talent, the Indian performing arts that we have, right from learning tabla to the mridangam, the flute, Hindustani music, the Kathak, we have Carnatic music. So all of those aspects are also part of really helping children to see more in terms of what is it that is mine and how do I own that? How do I celebrate it? And again, I see it even in my own son, right? He's also learning Mridangam. And it's so beautiful to see that engagement with the instrument and seeing it in how he connects it to math, that whole realm coming into play. Another part that I want to share with you today is also the way we work with our pottery, carpentry, our hands-on work that we do. So we have our pottery, carpentry, we have art, craft, and in our craft work, we work with crochet, we work with paper, we work with stitching. So that's also been an amazing journey to see from children not being able to, work with their hands in a certain way, to the way they have owned up the fact that this is a part of them, learning to roll paper, learning to make strips, learning to make mats from that, learning to crochet. We see girls and boys taking it up so in such a beautiful manner and really working with it. And that itself has helped them to engage in a certain way. And we see it working with how they are more attentive in class. Our children, even in the bus, sometimes we see them sitting and, knitting and talking. So all of that also, I feel, brings in a certain a mix of being able to understand and appreciate who they are, their capabilities to work with their hands, that there are things that they can do to build a different kind of world, which need not be the fast culture that we have. So in all of these, I think another aspect is the discussions and conversations that we have through our circle times as well, which enables children to question, to articulate their point of view, their thoughts, their worries, their anxieties, and really help them to to see a larger whole. So these are some of the things that we do. Now, while I'm sharing, I think I've just shared them in bits and pockets, and I've just given kind of an overview for each of them. I think one of the things that we need to keep in mind is that all of these are also done in an age appropriate manner, and they come together when they work together from the younger classes and they move to the older classes. I do see children picking it up and working with it in a certain way. And children do come back, whether it's with food, or a lot of these things come back to us, where they show their concern, one. Secondly, their need to work with it also. We do see coming alive, their ideas, their thoughts, shaping of their thoughts. That happens in a very gradual way, and yet in a very fruitful way, which is also the need of the hour. So I hope I've shared a little bit of what we do, and I think we're always open to having any one of you visit and come and see what we do. So please, if you're interested, you can also visit us, and we can share a little bit more of what we do.